A very, very good evening. This is Arunava Chaudhary. You are live on my YouTube channel, arunfoot, earlier than usual on this Saturday, August the 2nd, a day after Khalid Jamil was appointed as the Indian men's national team coach. We will surely discuss this. How the AIFF came to this decision, I think, is something which needs to be discussed, and everything else. Indian football, as always, as we look towards things and look at things, how things have happened. And once more in this life, I would like to say congratulations to Khalid to being appointed head coach of the Indian football national team. And I do wish him all the best. But I have to also honestly say what I've said in the last few days publicly, that to me, it is not the right decision. It is not the right appointment. It is not the right timing for something like this. So therefore, that is also something that I have to say on this Saturday evening. And let's see what happens, because we are in crisis. We are in a very difficult, complex situation when it comes to the national football team. And and therefore, let's wait and hope whatever happens. Waman says, good evening, Waman. Welcome back. I feel Khalid's appointment might not be right. The same cycle of not taking the right steps to appoint a coach and appointing favorites. And finally, I know we won't have good games and he will be blamed ultimately. Waman, to me, yes, very, very, very valid point that you raise, because to me, if I see the logic of this appointment from within the AIFF, especially from the elder gentlemen who have been coaches in the past, which is like, you know what, things are bad. I don't think things can be changed. Why don't you give an Indian coach a chance? And he deserves it. Then to me, that logic is, it doesn't work. For me, that logic simply does not work, because if I want to do something, and if I want to take things forward, I have to understand that if I am appointing Khalid as my head coach, then for me, I have to recognize how are we going to go forward? How are we taking the steps to be better in the future, right? And therefore, for me, that is a big, big challenge. And to me, therefore, this appointment makes no sense. But again, we had the option. Even if I look now at Stephen Constantine and Stefan Tarkovic amongst the top three, that we could have appointed someone else. And we still went with Khalid. Again, as I say, I wish him all the best and I hope he succeeds. But I just don't know how he can succeed, right? Given the scenario, given the realities, given where we are at this moment in time, I do not have the trust in Khalid to be able to achieve what is needed of him, right? So, hi Ashish. So therefore, for me, that is the main point. And looking at the team, looking at the players, looking at what I need, that's the other thing. And therefore, if the AIFF sets up, why does the AIFF then set out criteria and say, we want this, we want this, we want this? These are the qualifications that I want from a coach to be able to eligible. Then if you don't go by your own eligibility criteria, then it is no point of putting eligibility criteria out there into the market. And to me, that is the challenge. That was the challenge. That is the challenge. I think for me, that if we are going to look at things the way they are, then I have to say at this moment in time, the AIFF is making an appointment where rather a group of people are taking a decision. It seems to me that not even, saying that the EXCO is involved in the decision. I think some people in the EXCO will say, you know what, I don't want to have anything to do with this decision. It was not my call. And therefore that is something which is a reality, And it seems to me also that not a lot of people are not happy with this decision, amongst others in the national team department. And it will be very interesting to see what happens, because also Khalid had not seems to approached. So therefore for me, and therefore will be very, very interesting to see what happens really there. Hi again, Ashish. और you please one line हिंदी में बोल दो please. आशीष हिंदी में बोलते हो तो मैं अच्छा हूँ, so to say. That is what I'll try and tell you. I hope you're doing well as well. As I always say, my Hindi isn't the best to be able to communicate regularly on a show. And therefore, क्या हम 2030 World Cup qualifiers preparation शुरू कर सकते हैं? Ashish, too early. Because the AFC Asian Cup 2027 qualifiers are still on. So we are still in this cycle of the 2026 World Cup and 2027 Asian Cup. So we're still in the qualifiers. We still have 4 matches to go. And I believe, my trust that we will qualify is bare to a minimum, right? With this team, with this coach, I don't have hope. But I want Khalid and the boys to prove me wrong. And then once all of this is done, either this is done in March 2026, or we get to Saudi Arabia and then the cycle ends in January 27. After that, we can look at 2030. I think, given the realities, Ashish, at the moment, planning of the AIFF in regard to mid to long term doesn't seem to exist, because there's also no clarity from the AIFF. What kind of a contract does Khalid get, right? From my understanding, Khalid Jamil's contract at the moment is not very, very clear, right? So therefore, we'll have to wait and see what happens. As I speak to you all, because we could be again in a situation that the coach is the coach of club and country. I think there's no clarity so far in the conversation. The AIFF seems to have had no proper due diligence conversation process with the respective coaches, which I find insane. And therefore, for me, planning is going to be important. But is this 2030 World Cup qualification process seems to be, depending on whenever the Supreme Court takes a call, will most probably be an issue for the next All India Football Federation to take. So this is not a thing, not a call that I see being taken by being taken now at this moment in time, right? 2 pulse 1 side. Okay, Ashish. So nearly 10 minutes. Quick reminder. I did a short video today on what was on my mind in regard to Khalid Jamil. So if you haven't seen it, the appointment, how I fear it has not gone in the right way, do have a look at it. That's one. Also, as always, as I say, like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep on growing the community. This, which I say, I try to be as honest as I can. Only 2 likes so far, guys. I think we can do better. Share with other people to join in our conversations. I think we need to grow the community. You need to get more people into this channel so that we can, be a critical voice on things happening in Indian football. 2,804 people at the moment who have subscribed. Thank you very much to you. And those of you who are new, if you are listening to this conversation, liking the conversation, ask your questions, get involved in the conversation, and I'll try as always to answer not only your question but everybody's questions. Again, today a little earlier, as I'm off this evening somewhere, and therefore I thought I'd still do a live with Khalid being appointed. So therefore, thanks a lot. Khalid ka tenure, Ashish, no clarity. I think Khalid Jamil wants a long-term contract. AFF, I think, as I've said, I believe is looking at a contract till the end of the AFC Asian Cup 2027 qualifiers next March. So there is already this. There is no clarity. Only coach of India, coach again, joint coach Jamshedpur FC and India. Yeah, again, it's. I don't know if to me it looks like the preparations were not taken for this to happen. So therefore, that's another weird situation. So therefore, for me, we will have to wait and see what happens if the AIFF can sort out those things, and then can get us into a situation where we can, again, when will we get to know if and when Khalid is going to be the head coach? What's the tenure? All of those questions are at this moment in time, as I speak to you, it's going to happen. Who will win World Cup 2026? Ashish, FIFA World Cup next year. Top favorites would be most probably Spain, Argentina, right? Argentina defending champion, Spain, most probably one of the best teams in the world. You will have to add France to the mix, Portugal could be getting in there, Germany could be in there, maybe England also. So, but again, if you ask me, my personal top favorites are Spain to win the World Cup next year in the US. Your opinions on Sports Bill pass and Supreme Court. Yuvraj, welcome to the world of India in regard to legal and political clearances of things. Both of them supposedly should have been cleared, one at the start of the monsoon session, the other one at the start of the reopening, the sports bill still has not been passed, so therefore for me, that's one. And the Supreme Court verdict, I honestly don't know. It's like with everything else, I've given up of trying to push for timelines and ask, when are these decisions coming and going. Theoretically, a question that I have is, has the AIFF currently the right to appoint a national team coach under the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, right? Are they actually in a position to do that? Or is that a large decision that should have been cleared by the court? Now, if it has to be cleared by the court, then already it is third-party interference. So we are in a so-called minefield in regard to the legal side of things, looking at it from an Indian perspective, look at it from an outside perspective. And at the moment, I'm not very, very clear. I'm not very sure where we are. Both these decisions have not been taken and made. Bimal Ghosh and Amanda are behind this decision by many reporters. Akash, it's not behind this as per reporters. It is clearly stated by the All India Football Federation in its press release. I can quote it. 1 second. Right. So this was done in the presence and Mr. Colasso and Mr. Ali, and that is Armando Colasso and Shabir Ali. Shabir Ali, of course, being part of the technical committee, and Armando being part of this meeting because he is, besides Bimal Ghosh, of course, advisors to the president, expressed their views that the AIFF should prioritize selecting an Indian coach for the senior men's national team. And all three opinions that during their respective coaching careers, they too were once Indian coaches with no national team experience. However, they believe that Indian coaches need to be given a fair chance to prove themselves. Were you guys successful as national team coaches? I mean, I don't know. Bimal, were you ever a national team coach? Amanda, were you successful as a national team coach? Shabita, were you successful as a national team coach? Yeah. And that is my point, right? So you want to hope that some sort of fluke happens, Khalid somehow succeeds, and then all this narrative, this is a worst case scenario. Yeah. So it is a problem, and therefore, Akash, it is not as per reporters. It is officially stated in the press release of the All India Football Federation, right? That to me is the difference. So the AIFF is not even trying to hide that these guys were involved in the background of coming to this decision. It's not being hidden. It is clearly stated by the All India Football Federation in their press release that these gentlemen were actually behind it, with the backing of a certain Kalyan Chaubey, of course, because Kalyan had said, yeah, Indians first. This whole thing is such hypocrisy, and lack of understanding of things, that these gentlemen, with all due respect, should immediately get out of everything that they're involved in, right? They are harming Indian football. And anyone who wants to tell me that former athletes, former coaches need to be part of national sports federations or national sports associations, I will just say, look at the situation of the AIFF since 2022, and please never again mention that former athletes need to be part of these associations. This is the biggest BS that I've heard for many, many years. And these kind of decisions and the lack of transparency that you come to it, you're selling to the people you have a process, right? Which you had, right? Up to yesterday, there was a process. There were certain people who were missing from yesterday's meeting who were clearly on the side of appointing Stephen Constantine, right? So you didn't change the date or timing. You said, okay, we'll go ahead with it anyway, right? So, and there are people within the system who don't want that. So therefore, we are in the situation we are in. And now the question is, how will all of this continue? And this is something where, let the Supreme Court come out with its constitution, let FIFA then step in and ban us, and then let's see what these guys do. All of these people should be taken to task individually for crimes against Indian football. We need to take them to task. We need to highlight how they've harmed Indian football. They say they've done everything for Indian football. Guys, you're harming Indian football. You are not helping Indian football. We are behaving in the year 2025 as if we are in the 1950s and 60s. You guys, what have you achieved with your player development part of the story, right? So this is what really gets me angry. When we be ISL 2025-26 and I-League 2025-26? Yuvraj, no idea. At the moment, do you think the ISL is happening? We've had yesterday Odisha saying that they are stopping their men's team's operations, right? They're saying, okay, for moment, some part, women's we're keeping. Women's they cut down last year already. I mean, they were champions and then they got relegated because they were not spending. Because they realize spending is there. Other teams are also talking about it. So I see by the end of this month that, most ISL teams will be going on standby. And what some people are not realizing, that if teams are going on a standby and some of the key investors pull out, the knock-on effects will be damning. And we will not be able to recover out of the situation in like 5 minutes and things will be fine again. This is my biggest concern at the moment, looking at Indian football, so let's see what happens. Not a lot of people are concerned about football, otherwise we would have these 100 people in the life. Akash, they're not, and to me, that's the other reality. These people are getting away with all of this because there's no mass protest in regard to the mismanagement of Indian football, the miscoaching of Indian football, and that's the reality. Sorry. So I feel if Khalid fails entering, everyone in AIFF needs to leave the position. Listen, we've had so many reasons of of what could, should, needs to happen. Has it happened? These people are still there, right? It's been a mismanagement for 2.5, not 2.5, nearly 3 years, 35 months. Again, we can say that we are where we are. And before that, not everything was perfect. But the so-called old AIFF ensured that Indian football kept running. Right? That's the reality of things, right? That we are where we are, and we need to things. And yeah, we've not been able to change things in a positive way, right? That's the sad, brutal reality of the All India Football Federation in the year 2025. They are advisors to Chobe. Yeah, I'm not going to translate the Bengali part with the cows and headlights. Bullock cart. Let's call it a bullock cart. I said clubs should tell Supreme Court to give the verdict as fast as possible because there's uncertainty for 2-3 months now. On this and all thousands are affected. The clubs, listen, I've said this multiple times. First of all, the ISL clubs are not talking with one voice. If you see that 8 of the clubs signed that so-called letter, right? And that so-called letter is worded, ISL clubs, I've said this now multiple times. I've said this 2 years ago in July 2023. This is the time to do it, blah, blah. Nobody bothered. Even in January, February, March, when I was in India and talking to people on the ground, I was telling guys, these are the realities. What happens now? Nothing happened. And therefore, for me, if you ask me what this current situation is, the clubs have missed the bus as well. And I feel, don't get me wrong, but I feel some people are happy if this fails because this gives them a reason to be able to shut down the whole thing because they are losing money. Right? So that's the reality. Sources are telling Khalid Jimmy has signed a long 2+1 contract. Jamshedpur is looking for a new head coach. Yuvraj, let's see if they're looking really for a new head coach or just will appoint someone for the time being and then run it through the Durand Cup if that's the need of the hour. I've heard that the AIFF wants to sign a contract till the end of March. So let's see. Again, there are, as always these days, 3 to 4 different versions of what is happening. Again, to me, why a 2+1 contract? What is happening in the summer of 2027 or 28 to have such a long-term contract makes no sense. It shows you that we are in a situation of how badly our football is currently being managed. I mean, that is just a summary. Bimal, Vijay, and Armando all openly said 1 month ago to media they want Indian manager. That's why it's built that it was fixed. Yeah, Akash, but I know from people within the Exco and within the national team department that, again, they came up with solutions and with models. And if you say it's fixed, okay, then these guys fixed it in the way that you think that they fixed it. But again, formally, officially, that decision was not clear. And there were, again, people missing yesterday from that meeting who, if they're taken part, then I know that most likely we could have had a different outcome. So therefore, yes, it was fixed. I don't think it was fixed. It was these guys wanted it, but they were not sure if they could get it through. I think that's the point that I'm trying to make at the moment. Each and every ISL club owners here come together and find a solution on this. That bus has sailed, no? That ship has sailed. And that bus is drowned already. They are not, listen, the clubs are not a body who speak in one voice, be it ISL, be it I-League, or be it all these clubs speaking together. Most of the clubs are fighting individual battles, right? If they had understood, they would have done this when? Last summer. I say, listen, 1.5 years to go, what's the future of the league, right? When I, in April, the day after or 2 days after the ISL final, asked the question is, what is the future of the ISL? People told me, why are you bothering? Reliance will take care of it. It's not my problem, right? So that's the reality, that be it ISL, be it I-League, be it local league, be it this, The clubs always will put the blame on the AIFF or the FSDL or the state or district FA or whatever. No? Where is the accountability in the club setup in the club system? Right? That's another question. Satisfaction is it, Akash, it's, yeah. I mean, today the interest level, maybe I'm because I'm doing it earlier than usual, I don't know, but the interest level is less than it is normally. So it shows you a lot of people have just given up. My feeling is a lot of people have given up after that decision yesterday that Khalid has been appointed national team coach. The support level for Indian football will sadly go down even further now. That is the sad reality of where we are today in 2025 on August the 2nd. Right? That's the reality. It is not nice. I would rather have a discussion with you guys and have more people coming in, more people discussing this, which is not happening, right? How the AIFF will pay salary after December, their budget is till December. Okay, that's their problem. Let them worry, let them find a solution, and they will have to find a solution, right? I'm interested to see how they're, for example, going to fund the whole women's preparations, which they're talking about. How are you going to fund till March, right? How are you going to run I-League, I-League 2, I-League 3, Santosh Trophy, Women's Nationals, all of those things, right? That is the big question for the AIFF that at some stage they will have to answer. How can you run all of this in a realistic manner as per the requirements if there is no ISL? Sir, is it possible for all of us to unite and go outside Dwarka Football House and give tight slaps to Kalyan Chaubey? Mama, tight slaps and all that stuff is nice to say. You can, slapping and all or violence and all, that's not something which I support. But if fans want to go, please go, coordinate, create a WhatsApp group, coordinate on whatever platform, and protest. Yeah. If let's say 50 or 100 people go there and protest, make a silent protest, a banner protest in front of the AIFF, questioning all that decision that there is, and carry it onto social media, that would be an impact. As I say, I do not support violence. There should be no violence of any sort. Just a silent protest that the fans are unhappy. If the fans can do that, if you can organize it, want to organize it, if you need any help from my side in making it public, I will do that. I think the fans should, yes. So therefore that's the reality. And yeah, this is where we are at this moment in time, and let's see what happens. Do you think any ISL owners really care about Indian football? Raisa, do they care about sport? You take it on, no? If it's not ISL owners, I-League owners, do they care about lower levels? Do these people who say and tell you, I care about, I'm doing this for Indian football, do all of these guys do it for Indian football, or do they do it for themselves, their own egos? For the pockets can't be, because there is no money to be made, but some people actually make it on the side. These are the realities, no? So therefore, don't cut it down to ISL owners. Take everybody involved in this, right? People look at the whole I-League, that people are trying to, manipulate the system to win the league, to stay in the league, and all that stuff, right? That owners in it, and forget this is an Indian context. So therefore, that's the thing. Sir, if clubs stop operations by this month end, then only possible is after December, then can the players leave and go to other clubs if the players won't leave and just sit quietly? Mohammed, I don't know what the players are going to do. I mean, again, I have had contact with a few players since yesterday again, who are saying, sir, now after saying that they wanted to go abroad on a training stint, they want to go abroad and play. And then I said, sorry, first of all, I'm not an agent. Secondly, I don't know a club which will take an Indian player at a professional level in Europe and give them a chance, right? People will do their homework, and the reputation we have. I mean, we're a bunch of jokers. I was yesterday night in Remscheid here at a Bundesliga preseason handball friendly, and someone Spanish who knows that I'm Indian and I'm involved in Indian football, jokingly said to me, "Oh, you guys has Xavi signed for you guys?" Right? And to me, that is something which just, this is, it's embarrassing to say the least, right? So therefore, for me, yeah, what am I going to say to these people? These are the realities that we all need to live with. This is where Indian football is in the year 2025. Hey, Dark Knight, good evening, welcome back. So, what is more important, qualifying for AFC Asian Cup 2027 or having Indian national team coach? For me, former is more important than that. Yeah, Dark Knight, you asked that question under my video, and it's a very, very good question and a very, very important question. And as I said, if you ask me, the first, to me, Indian coaches are not willing to accept, have never been willing to accept that foreign coaches have more experience in the game. Right? Period. I know Indian coaches say, "Oh, you know what? We don't get the same as the foreign coaches in this when they demand and they blah blah blah." What am I going to say? Am I, in the interest of Indian football, going to pick the right coach or not? And for me, if you ask me for different reasons, men's and women's, what I've seen over the last 25, 26, 27 years in the men's, Bob Houghton, by far the best. Stephen also comes into that because the results was able to deliver again. And even more, the women's team was Thomas Dennerby, right? And even Joachim Alexandersson seems to be able to get something out of the India 20s women's team. So therefore, these are all hopes and realities. Hey, Rishabh, won't be giving up in this lab unless Ranji Bajaj is appointed national team coach. Yeah. Let's see if your wishes are fulfilled. Not going to say anything about Khalid as any prejudgment immature, and let's see what happens in matches. No prejudgment already not done. Immature. Okay, Shanata. I wish they hired Constant and wanted Khalid to get more experience but was hired as a head coach of India. Okay, is Khalid a football coach or a man manager? If I say none of both, Rohit, right? Really, what is Minerva about playing about some good youth teams around the world? Are they really happy beating team 50 without no competition? Yes, they should stop playing football. Shanlata, I've said what I said to those things. It makes no sense. So yeah, that's the reality. I rooting for Constant to be appointed as our national team coach, but we all knew it was written on the wall. Let's see. Let's just back Khalid until whatever others hopefully will prove everyone wrong. Yeah, Rishabh, me, same here. If he proves us wrong, great. But even if he proves us wrong, it doesn't mean that it is right. Because we could have had better options. That's the whole summary to me, given the scenario that we are in. If we look at the coaches that we could have appointed, should have appointed, again, it shows me also that the AIFF has not understood at this moment in time in what kind of a situation we are. That is my personal problem in finding a decision and seeing how that decision has been found. Indian football became extremely negative since 2022. Yeah, Akash, because 2022, yeah, let's wait and see where it goes. Ochud, welcome. Does Khalid have international coaching experience as per AIFF advertisement? Ochud, the AIFF has AIFF really bothered about that advertisement? And it's not a new phenomenon. Look at how Manolo came in and got the job, and also Igor Stimac. Yeah, so therefore, let's wait and see. He doesn't. And you add, as per Dulal there, Khalid's appointment was pre-decided, he wrote in a July 14 article. I know that this has been said. I also know from the inside that there were certain people in the system who clearly were trying to avoid this whole Indian coach thing. I know that certain people, even in the technical committee, who did not want, or in and around the technical committee, did not want an Indian coach in the mix, that they wanted to follow whatever advertisement was given, but that was not held through. And yesterday, certain people did not attend the meeting from the EXCO. So therefore, that is another question that needs to be asked, right? Hi, Blue. Yes, I'm early because I'm heading out later. So therefore, no chance to do a live. But I thought yesterday I couldn't do it because yesterday was out all day, and then later on I was at the handball, so didn't have the time. So therefore, I thought I'd come a little early and do a live after the appointment of Khalid Jamil yesterday. Until these EXCO and technical members are not removed, these scams in national team coach selection will always continue. Also, these legends have been destroying our national team by their suggestions. Yeah. RSC game, I think the technical committee and the way we use it without technical expertise in the technical committee, without the expertise of people in and around the president, just shows. So therefore, yeah, as per the requirements. So, yeah. So Steve Constant was ready for pay cut, but the AIFF didn't select him. That night, I know from someone else, a foreign coach who was willing to work until the end of the qualifiers for free for the AIFF. So this whole thing about the money that people are talking about, yeah. So therefore, so let's see what happens. Ranjit Bajaj, the AIFF president, is the toughest thing. If it happens, it can benefit a lot, but all know that politics supports AIFF president and corruption supports politics, no chance. I don't know where you are coming from, Shanlata. If you think that Ranjit can do a good job with all that he's done, then please take him. Wish you all the best. But before that, I'll be out of Indian football. I'm telling you this. Bro, these YouTubers are so disconnected. Half of the players in national team can't speak English. Having better communication should be top priority because when foreign coaches don't work, it's disaster class. Okay, so Arthur, what are you trying to say? What is the point? What's the point? Is that language is a problem? Right? That this is yeah. If government of India is serious thinking about hosting Olympics, should have monitored how AIFF is running. I don't know how they are not getting reports. Akash, they don't care. Akash, they don't care. Right? If they had cared, then Kalyan Chaubey would have been never made president. Right? Say don't help any of these Indian players. The hard work you put into getting them trials and stints, better to let them not play if they can't be grateful. Maman, it is, I would still try for the one or the other at least. But the problem is no one is of the quality. Sorry, that's the reality. President's advisor in the meeting, I can very well understand how the atmosphere was during the meeting. Yeah, actually, they were there in the meeting. They were there in the technical committee meeting. Actually, the question to me is, are you violating laws by getting them into those meetings? Because why does the president, so therefore that's the point. And yeah, what else to say? We need a good sporting director in AIFF. A foreign guy is needed, I guess, in that position. Karelis did a good job because there's someone like that. Your thoughts? RSC again, I don't know. Karelis is not a technical director for National Federation. Again, National Federation and clubs are two totally different things. We've had foreigners who came in, foreigners who said to the AIFF what to do, not to do. I remember Rob Ban very clearly, with all the experience he had in the Netherlands, came in and told the AIFF what he thought needed to be done. The AIFF didn't do anything because he created the Lakshya program. And I remember Scott O'Donnell, who was the deputy sporting or technical director, sorry, not sporting, technical director, even said to me at a conference in Goa in, I think, 2013, yeah, we have a plan, but I don't think we'll be able to implement it. And the same can be said about Isaac Duru. Isaac Duru came in as a technical director, said what needed to be done. Sadly, little to none was implemented. So the foreign technical directors will tell you what to do, not to do. And the foreign technical directors also don't care. They won't be having this yes sir mentality, right? Yeah. Is there any logic of this appointment? You made a selection criteria international experience and then select Khalid to AIFF. Blue, no. And so therefore, yeah, again, we've now had 3 consecutive coaches selections. Even 2019, Igor Stimac was very dubious how he came in. Let's be honest about that. Manolo came out of nowhere last year. And they say Khalid, so to say, was it because people wanted to push through an Indian coach? So to me, the whole processes are flawed within the All India Football Federation. And therefore, we end up with something like this. Well, a quick reminder to all of you, if you haven't, do like, share, and subscribe. And I need your support, guys. 11 likes so far. I think we can do better. Share to other people so that more people can join into our small little community and have a look at what we talk about. 2,805 people as subscribers. Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, I need your support. I need your help. We need to grow this community. And only if I can grow this community exponentially, be it here, be it on Instagram, be it on Twitter. I did a long Twitter space yesterday with a lot of people involved. Thanks for those of you who joined in. That I can also then influence things more. I need your backing, right? I need your social media backing, guys, that I can speak up not only for myself, but I can say, you know what, I have a community of people to speak up about Indian football. So therefore, yeah, I need your support. Constant having done decent with team years ago doesn't mean he would have been hired, would again bring success. OCF come in teams, and our team is pathetic, so no chance. Another. But I when I take a decision, I try and take a decision what is in the best interest of the national team, of Indian football, of the AIFF. So therefore, yeah, you're true. Stephen had success. But Stephen has shown that in difficult circumstances, he can get you success. He can give you success. Khalid, just go through his history and see how he's performed, what he's done. So let's see. Hi, Stephen. Welcome back. We never confirmed on YouTube they will participate in Mick Cup next year. They can't get invited to top tournaments because of they won AIFF Youth League. 25 gets attention invitations. Arthur, do you really believe that? Are you, again, because I have to ask, if you believe it, then sorry, you're very naive. Anyone taking those 20 plus goal results seriously against grassroots amateur teams, and even again, all these Mickey Mouse tournaments make no sense because you're not playing full 90-minute tournaments. Forget tournaments, play matches, friendlies. Come to Germany, come to Spain, go to England, go to France, go to Italy, Netherlands, Belgium, Austria. It doesn't matter for an Indian academy to come to Europe, right? Come here for 2 weeks and play 4 or 5 friendlies. Then we will see how good you are. These tournaments have no valuation. I used to say that in the 90s to people where when the IFA in Bengal used to send their mayor's 11 to the Gothia Cup and whatever cup. It has no value, right? So therefore, play the right competition and then talk. And my question is not what are you going to do at under 13, under 14, under 15 level. What can you do at senior level? That is going to be the question. We're not producing better players, right? The Tata Football Academy used to come to Germany in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. They used to be at the Cologne University for up to 6 weeks, play Bundesliga, second division team academies. I remember in 1999, the Tata Football Academy beating Bayer Leverkusen. I think it was under 16, if I'm not wrong, right? Malswam to Lunga, destroying Bayer Leverkusen. We have no player of those capabilities in any of our teams, be it club or country, who can be of that. The talent is not there. What are we doing? So that is, please ask all of these people that question who are coaches, who are running academies, youth centers, what is the level of talent that you are producing, right? We can go on and do all of this, but if we're not playing the right opposition and we're not promoting our talent to a certain level, all of this is useless. So Jamshedpur FC is national team. Let's see. Yeah. Question is, Khalid, very clear. If you look, Mumbai FC, Aizawl FC, later on Northeast, and then now even Jamshedpur FC, there's certain people, players he trusts. So therefore, let's wait and see what happens. This selection was so predictable and fixed. I'm sick and tired now. I'm 40. Was losing hope. If you have been supporting this team for 30 plus years, how you do it, Stephen? This is not something this is something which is a reality. If I like it, you like it or not, this is a reality. And Indian football gives you more, that's the reality. We need to support, continue support. So let's see. This Indian coach is so disgusting. Will the ones with so much nationalism can boycott all foreign products and stay with Indian products? Won't they flee to foreign the first moment they get chance? Flew very well summarized. Wasn't there the story about the ministers where all the kids are studying in the US and the UK? So good, yeah, that's this is in sports. You should pick what is right. Right. So therefore, I don't know what it is. Instagram is full of scooter for Indian coach. Because I know I've said it multiple times and I will say it. Fans will hate me for saying this, but again, if you have good administrators at a club, at a federation, you will take decisions what is in the best interest of the entity that you represent. And sometimes you might take a decision in the interest of that entity, which might not be even to the liking of the public. Right? Sounds hard, but that's the reality. Do the fans understand football in a way that they can take it? How many of you actually know Khalid Jamil to be able to judge? Yeah. And let's see what happens. How can you announce a coach without even agreeing a contract and doing it when the coach is contracted with the club whose team is participating in a tournament which is ongoing? RRC game, welcome to the world of the AIFF. You have a final three. Did they talk to the coaches? Do they do a proper interview process? They're saying, sorry, I go back to that AIFF press release, right? And I read this portion once again, a little longer portion, but then you'll understand. Then you understand how how this works. The All India Football Federation's Executive Committee, on the recommendation of the Federation's Technical Committee, decided to appoint Khalid Jamil as the head coach of the senior men's Indian national team during its virtual meeting on Friday, August the 1st, 2025. Right? In the presence of AIFF President Shri Kalyan Chaubey, Vice President N.A. Harris, Treasurer Ajay Keeper, members of the Executive and Technical Committees, along with both Dronacharjee coaches Bimal Ghosh and Armando Colas and Dana Chandawadi Shabir Ali, the AIFF's Technical Director Shahid Sabir Pasha and National Team Director Shubhata Paul present a SWOT analysis of all the three shortlisted coaches, Khalid Jamil, Srinivasa and Stefan Tarkovic. Mr. Kolasan and Mr. Ali expressed their views that the AIFF should prioritize selecting an Indian coach for the senior men's national team. All three opined that during their respective coaching careers, they too were once Indian coaches with no national team experience. However, they believed that Indian coaches need to be given a fair chance to prove themselves. Technical Committee Chairperson Vijay Padma Shri and Arjuna awardee shared experiences during his playing days and said that India had a much higher FIFA ranking with the likes of Suginder Singh and Saad Namuddin as head coaches. Thus, he strongly recommended Khalid Jamil, as he already been conferred with the AIFF Men's Coach of the Year awards in two occasions, 23, 24, 24, 25. And this summarizes that these guys have no clue what they're doing. Viju bhai, what are you talking about? I was there, right? Said Namuddin? Are you kidding me? Have we forgotten the NS Manju thing that he made the boy train, that he nearly died? Have we forgotten that he didn't call up the best players because he said, that he told players to cut their hairs and all that? Players hated him. What are you talking about? Suki Paji, I'll take out. Suki Paji, is a different conversation because, with all due respect, Suki Paji, not the best coach, but his man management, exceptional. And Vijan was one of the guys who he made to train, even though Vijan hated training, right? So let's be talking. And the other three, come on, Armando. We know what your tenor was, right? I was there, right? De facto, you made Dempo Sports Club the national team. You didn't have a clue what you're doing. So you guys are going to tell us what is the right thing, what's the wrong thing. This shows me that this disqualifies all of you to take a decision on this. Me being a non-technical person understands it better than you. I mean, how can that be? It should not be, right? You are coaches, you are legends in your own right, Viju bhai. But these kind of statements just prove you are not eligible, you are not capable to be in the chairs that you sit. You are harming Indian football. Do you understand? Any one of you understands that? You should take a call, a decision made. No, don't think about the nationality of the coach. Think about the situation of the national team. What is my aim to get to the Asian Cup? Who has the experience, the knowledge, and the understanding to do that? Khalid is now never coached a national team, right? And you will have teams who will say, speak, talk about this. And talk about, at the moment, Jamshedpur FC, or even some will take Northeast United, and whatever happened at Northeast United, to get Gerard Nu's house is also very scandalous, but no one's going to speak about it ever. Your failures at Bangalore United, East Bengal, and Mohun Bagan is also suddenly forgotten. I mean, especially at Bangalore United, where your only task was to get the team out from ID2 to I-League, right? So, yeah. Right. Other things which are there, which I'm not going to put in the public domain, but those who know Khalid know. So therefore, that's all of that is forgotten, right? And the people who took a wrong decision last year are taking a wrong decision now again, and are making, it is wrong. This is any doubt who's paying attention to them globally, even the win margin is not competitive, no value. He says, okay. So do you feel the players can do more? Someone like a Sunil Chetri, who I understand is towards the end of his career, can lead and go to the president, talk and show what it's worth. Vaman, this used to happen in the past, right? In the past, the national team, that the captain or some of the key players used to interact with the top management of the AIFF, or at least with the national team department. That's not happening. I don't think the players were even asked for 1 second. What do you want? What do you need? Don't want. Right. So, yeah. Akash says Ranjit is neither a well-wisher of Indian national football nor club football. His only intention is to print money by selling players like Anwar and pocketing millions. Okay, Akash. Rushabh says the most unbelievable thing to me ever since I started following in was the contract extension of Lord Steamach, and yet Lord Shahja's nerves to tweet on X India is full of clowns. Rushabh, again, if people are not willing to look at themselves, question themselves, how are we going to be able to be better? That's my simple question, right? My question to anyone would be, as we look at this, as if I don't ask myself, what have I done? Have I done myself mistakes? Yeah. How is it going to move forward? That's why I say introspection, accountability, key things. These people don't do that. No? If you expect a foreign coach to be impaired due to lack of knowledge of Indian languages, should we not invest in interpreters? Should they? I don't think if this is a problem that some I don't know where this comes from. Then how does it work in the ISL teams? Right? And I said this many years back. I used to say this to the Tata Football Academy, right? If you want the players at some stage in the future to go abroad, all of them should be able to speak good English. Basic. Right? So a lot of these things, yeah, are the way they are. Oh no, it was so early today. Because Aditya, I'm gonna be out later this evening. So I said again, I don't know, are you guys getting, let me just know if you're getting the alerts. I mean, I'm posting it on Twitter, on threads, and on here on YouTube on the channel. If you get it, not just let me know. Honestly, I was cringing on Scooter's motivational speech. He has successfully stalked his PR. A friend of mine was sending his PR reels. Yeah, Rishabh. I found it scary, to say the least, but people find it's nice. If that's needed to motivate your team, then I think there's something problem with the team. Don't take it politically, but the current government is neglecting football the most. The previous ones, be it NDA or UPA, at least had Dasmunchi and Proful as president, both known leaders. Kalyan is nothing. Yeah, it's a fact. But again, Kalyan was put in by the current government, right? So I don't know. If Khalid ends up doing great as the Indian head coach, will your perspective on him change towards the positive? No, it won't. It won't. Because I've known him too long. Right? And my opinion will not change, even if he is successful and qualifies as some or the other. Great, I'll be happy. But how can my opinion change about knowing what I know? I mean, I could make 3-4 statements here on this channel now. That's the end of the career of a Khalid Jamil. But I'm not going to do it. That's on me. Right? I could do that to most of these people who are there. But that's not me, right? I will try and change things in the back end, in the background, which is bad. But that's why I always tell you, you guys think you know, you understand. Oh, you know, sorry, so little of what happens. That having an opinion is so difficult or impossible. Because what are you consuming? You're consuming either what is being said by the creators or by people in the news. You read stuff on social media, you read newspaper articles, but actually, do you know the people? Have you interacted with them? Have you worked with them? Have you stayed with them? I'm in a different position with these people. I know Khalid Jamil for 25 years. So that's the thing. AIFF Technical Committee is a joke, selecting a candidate which didn't fit their own minimum criteria for the job. Sumit, they've done it now twice, right? So sadly, but reality. Do good sports administrators have good political connections in general? Like in Europe, do they get things done with their connections? No. Because in Europe, you have a system, even in a South America, you will have a system on how things work, right? The difference between how a federation works normally is you will have people, the administrative people will just do the administrative stuff. They will have some contacts here and there, surely, or build those contacts in their time in those positions. But there is a framework of how you get support or not, be it in a Germany or a Spain or a France or in England. Even in a Brazil or in Argentina, you will have that, right? So, or even in Africa, you have that. So therefore, what the AIFF needs, to me, a president with the right political contacts, the right corporate contacts as well. Ideally, I need a president who can deal with the government and on the other side can also deal with the reliances of this world, or with Mr. Goenkas, or with the Tatas. Let the administrative head take care of the administration. I would like, in an ideal case scenario, we have a CEO who looks at the vision, and yeah, that's the reality. It'll be interesting to see how Khalid performs. For me, bottom line is the national team success, nothing more, nothing else. Style of play and other aspects secondary. Yeah, very true. But again, opinions don't change. Good evening, Yuvraj. Welcome back. I'm good. Sir, heard from an I-League club owner that I-League will start late December or Jan because AIFF got no money, and if AIFF happens to happen in December late or Jan 2. Yuvraj, there's no conversation on ISL. So anybody who says, talks about the ISL at the moment is on hold. There is no planning structurally, whatever's happening. As long as the Supreme Court doesn't come out with its judgment, as long as there's no clarity, what is the next step of the AIFF? There is also the point of if the Supreme Court says, you know what, guys, you will have to own and run the league. Then it might be over. There might not be a discussion on the topic. So therefore, I am positively surprised so far that Reliance is still there in the conversation, right, guys? My thing is very simple. I know that other corporates would have pulled the plug by now, right? So that's where we are at this moment, but I hope and wish that some sort of solution is found, because otherwise, where are we going with this, right? So therefore, that's the difficult part at this moment in time, right? So just 1 second, let me just have a quick. Sorry. Yeah, this is where we are. So reminder, those of you who haven't, were here, if you're liking the conversation, leave a like behind, share with other people. Let's get. I know these are difficult times. 14 likes so far, right? We need more people. I need your help. We need to grow this community. 2,805 people subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Help me to grow, because I can try and influence in the background what I can. But if I have the power of social media behind me, if I have the numbers growing here on Instagram, on Twitter, it gives me a chance to say, you know what, I have the backing of the people, So therefore, I need your support as always, guys, and thanks. And also watch the short videos. Again, today I did something on Khalid. Yesterday, of course, on the Odisha FC situation, India and Kafa, other things. And I always remind, I posted 7 days ago my interview with Zoeb, Desi Ballers, 15 years, outside of London Stadium, more than 30 minutes. Do watch that. Thanks a lot. A competent committee would have started looking for a coach right when Manolo said he wants to resign. But yeah, even with ex-players, we have clowns sitting over there. Rushabh, the point is that, it should have been, if Manolo offered and said what he said, I would have actually appointed a new coach before the June window, right? If Manolo wanted to leave, as he said, right? And it was not even a surprise. It was known from 28th of March. People knew that Manolo Marquez had said to a few people, I don't think I can work in this setup. I don't want to work in this setup. It was known, right? So therefore, Yeah, the AIFF should have appointed someone before the May camp, a new coach. Giving Indian coach fair chance is more important than India and Asian Cup. Yeah, bro, that's the reality. That is the decision that they've taken. No? That is their priority. Because why? Because some of these older gentlemen have a grudge that they were not given a fair chance, right? The AIFF and the system is against Indian coaches because this and that. They don't realize that they need to up their quality, up their knowledge, up their experience to be taken seriously. A lot of players don't take the Indian coaches seriously. I've heard stuff for which players have said about coaches, most of the coaches would not even keep those players. And we're not even talking about great players, right? Not the brightest of players. But if you hear some of the stuff that the players say about Indian coaches, oops, yeah, I wouldn't say more. Look, I'm all for the chance to give Indian coaches, but now we need a miracle. And the other thing about Baichung, well, the thing is football has changed from the Baichung era. So, yeah. When will people understand it's not that we hate Khaled, we want more than anyone to succeed him, but we're questioning AIFF and the way it works. Yeah, Ruvraj, but that's the problem. People don't understand. But I am also questioning Khalid. I don't hate Khalid. No, I never will. Personally, I like him. I don't have a problem. But to me, the reality is that if I look at the things the way they are, then we have to be honest to ourselves that where we are at this moment, yeah. I don't know where we're going to go with this, right? So therefore, for me, that is something which is there, right? Technical committee, please change name to Fossil Committee, says Dark Knight. Vijayan Bhai really is an experience. Maybe this giving position to players might not be good outside, but I think you guys do not know how things work. Aditya, anyone who says that it is better to have former athletes in key positions without understanding how administration, how management of a sport works. This is a difference. You can be the best player in the world. You can be the best coach in the world. But you do not know what administration is, right? There was once a very interesting interview with Jurgen Klopp while he was at Liverpool Football Club. Because he said, you know what, in Germany, I was just the head coach. I bothered about the coaching part only. I had to learn in England that I'm more than as a manager. I have to manage things also, right? I have more coaches working under me. I'm not just the coach, right? So this is the understanding. If you coach, if you are a player, it does not automatically mean you know what administration, what management means, right? And I've had this argument with some interesting senior players over the years, right? Where they say we understand, and I said, no, you don't. What I said to those guys in private, I said, guys, you don't, because you do not understand what it needs to be in those positions, right? Because management, be it administratively of a federation or management of a club, is something different. So therefore, for me, that is something that this is something, yeah. So therefore, for me, let's wait and see. Shan Mukherjee tweeted, says Blue, yeah, that supposedly India, Singapore will be in Bangalore. Hey Shaggy, welcome back. Exactly what I was saying yesterday, sir. Khalid Jamil is not the friendliest choice to coach a team already rock bottom. When in that blue shirt, what to say? These guys at AIFF are shameless at the moment. Yuvraj, they don't understand. No, they think they know, they understand, they don't. If any one of them, again, Armando, Bimal, Shabir Bhai, Viju Bhai, all of them could have reached out. Forget Sunil, go to other players, no, as well. Sorry for using extremes in my sentences, sir, but whole fiasco from Kashi versus Churchill to ISL. Now this, enough of curtailing anger. Yuvraj, no problem in that. My point is uh, the issue here is am I taking a decision in the best interest of the game and of the of my country? Right. That's my question. You are saying you stand for India, right? All these coaches saying we stand for India. We want the best. Well, we stand with. If you want the best decision for India, then you would have said. And Viju Bhai needs to, understand. Listen, you had a very successful spell under Steven, right? 2002 LG Cup in Vietnam, most historic comeback for an Indian team. 2-0 up, 2-0, 2-2, and then 3-2 Abhishek Yadav. Yeah, that's the point. Is there any truth to the rumors about Khalid nudging and superstition, witchcraft, etc.? Such rumors are rife when he coaching coach guy. Yes, so there is a lot of truth to that, and that is one of the problems. Putting out any minimum requires 10 plus 15 years of elite coaching experience, inviting all these many good coaches to apply and end up hiring Khalid without proper procedure, incompetent AIFF. Mayank, well said. You sum it up. Which Indian language? At least 100. Lol, only language is English. Yeah. Okay. So they understood. Just mark it as sarcasm in some sort of form of way, because very difficult to understand if you're being sarcastic or being honest. Rate Bibiana and Flopin you coaches from 0 to 10 scale. Rohit, I'm not here to rate people, and I don't like that rating and all that stuff. All I hope he doesn't get bullied by Kalyan, or he could remove the quota players who use their connections. See, and Aditya, you're talking about something which doesn't. Anyway, let's not get into this. President's advisor on what aspects? If technical, then Kalyan knows the basics. Administrative, Mr. Kalas and Ghosh are not the right people to advise. President advisors on what? On football. Should I tell you a story? I'll tell you a story, a very funny story. India was playing Hong Kong, AFC Asian Cup qualifier in Kolkata, and I was staying at the hotel outside of the Salt Lake Stadium. Mr. Chaube walks in with his security, meets me, meets some other people as well, and didn't even know that India was playing that day. So what are we talking about, right? Does he have the technical know-how? Does he have that know-how? But why do you need people who are older than you, who've been out of the game even longer than you, or are at a level which doesn't work? Get this whole setup of looking at AIFF, advisors, technical committee, look at the Miss and Appeals Committee, player status committee. You need a complete overhaul. You need all of this to be replaced by the right people. If being Indian was the main thing in hiring the coach, Mahesh Gawle was more experienced of international football than anyone. This college appointment doesn't make sense. Still, all wishes to Khalid. Man, yeah, but yeah. So the next time you're in India, would you be open to talking to Khalid and asking if he feels he's the right person for the national team and ask the right questions? Privately, I will speak to Khalid. No problem with that, right? We will speak, but I don't need to tell you or anybody else what we've spoken about, because that's also something which I ensure that I know when I talk to him or to anyone, that when we're having private conversations, that it's not out there in the public domain. My problem is he will tell me things in private that he will never say publicly, or even won't even tell the people in the AIFF. So I know that, but let's see. So therefore, I'll talk to him surely. Keep the time to 9:45 ST. I saw the link, but my hands were tight. Aditya, as I said, I do this in my spare time, these lives, and if it's a Saturday, I have prior engagements, I'll do it earlier, or I won't do it at all. So I thought I'd rather do this today, because yesterday we had the appointment. Yesterday I was at handball, so I couldn't do the live. Actually, Musa Bhai also invited me to his platform, and I couldn't go. So therefore today I had to do it a little earlier. Thanks for not only you but others also joining in. As I said, we need to, if we want to ask critical questions, if we want to raise these topics, help me to be stronger so that I have the backing of you guys. As per my opinion, Renedy, even Gawle is a better coach if we're talking about Indian coaches. Yeah, but Renedy and Mahesh didn't apply, so that question doesn't arise, right? And yeah. Why not directly approach the top 5 coaches available? AIFF is interested in us for their presentation. Why do all this invite tender saga? Because, Mayank, we don't know who the top 5 coaches are available who will be willing to coach India. Do we know that? There is a problem, Mayank. If I have the networks, if I have the people to go out and go and speak and say, listen, you know what, Stephen, I want you to come back. Would you be interested? Okay, okay. That's going to happen. Would the AIFF had the contacts to get through to Stefan Tarkovic? I don't know. I don't think so. Would AIFF had the contacts of Peter Sagat to reach out to him? I don't know, right? And others, XYZ. So therefore, the approach from your side is nice, because do I put out something in the public domain and say, listen, apply for the job, or do I approach? So therefore, yeah, that's the thing. National Sports Bill, and I'm not talking about Supreme Court verdict. I don't know. It's stuck now. Every day there is something else why this is being pushed. It shows the priority of the parliament. Therefore, I'm saying it doesn't matter. All of sports is not a priority. They want a show event like the Olympics, right? The sports bill for all of Indian politicians is not their priority. Sorry, right? And then the bill would have been differently presented. You said that you know Indian football in and out due to connections and interactions in Indian football. We don't know. Barely scraped the barrel after some episode. Come on. Aditya, you know what? Do I know everything? No, I don't know. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. I can't know everything. Nobody. If anybody claims that, you can't. Anywhere in the world. But I know how the workings are. And I know what I can talk about, what I can't talk about, what I'm willing to talk about, what I'm not willing to talk about. Right? Because otherwise I know people will not trust me. Right? And let's see where it goes. So therefore we will have these discussions. I will tell you what I want to tell you, but I also know what I can't tell you. Who will be having Stephen Eze of the national team similar problems like Manolo? No one, Mayank. He will have bigger problems, because also, to me, that's why I said in my short video today, Khalid likes to play a defensive game, wait and watch, a little bit of hope, wish, and some or the other, someone will do something for me. His problem with the Indian national football team in those 4 matches in the qualifiers will be, I need goals, I need wins. I cannot wait and watch and play for a 0-0 and hope I win 1-0. And if we want to play 0-0, we don't have the defense to play 0-0 at the moment. We have 1 or 2 critical mistakes where the opponent always is able to score a goal. Against Bangladesh, we got away. It's playing Monopoly, and it's like a get out of jail card, that 0-0. Against Hong Kong, we saw with the goalkeeper who I said to me is not a national team player. He sadly proved it. Right? So this is my problem. If I had anybody else, even with less experience than Khalid, but with a playing style where I say adoptable, trying to figure it out, we could do something. But here, this ultra defensive approach is not going to take us anywhere. Did you see my tweet where I shed light what happened with certain world champion academy when they played with their academy products in our league? What happened to them, especially Messiah? No, you're not. Sorry, you haven't seen it. No, I haven't actually. I have to check. Reliance actually cared about us, and in true Indian fashion, the clubs exploited it. AIFF is still doing it. Yeah, true. Very well said. Reliance has invested money. Again, 750 crores to the AIFF by the end of the contract. No questions asked. And I remember I said 2012 when I was doing some work for them. I said, ask questions to the AIFF. How are they spending that money or not? Which they actually did at the start, right? And the AIFF, Kushal was open about it. Hey, I'm using this. No problem. Then the ISL. They've been spending hundreds of crores over the years to organize the ISL, and the ISL clubs never asked a question because they were happy. And if I say, you know, that the last real ISL club/franchise meeting with Reliance happened in 2014 in August, exactly 11 years ago. Yeah, as long as things are running, the clubs didn't ask a question, right? So therefore, you have to ask, and yeah. No, ISL on hold. Who cares about I-League in today's scenario, which the Kolkata, Goan, and South legacy clubs think that if ISL ends, they will get to play I-League. Try wrong. No ISL, no I-League. Okay, Aditya. I think I-League fanboys happy seeing this ISL mess, but they didn't realize that if FSL steps out, I-League clubs will also suffer. Yeah, that's the big problem, right? They thought it's their problem. It's not our problem, right? Has anybody been talking about the I-League and what's happening with the I-League? Except the Cascades. So that's where we are. If Praful was still president, would he get the contract renewed deal where it favors AIFF? Rishabh, I don't know what kind of contract would have been signed, but he would have worked towards getting a contract between Reliance and the AIFF. Yes, 100%. The question to me is, what kind of contract would Praful would have liked? I think he would have tried to work out a contract in some, different way maybe, to guarantee them some money and then, get some support out of Reliance. But the question at the end of the day remains with the given realities that we are in, that he would have most probably by 23, summer of 23, have started conversations with Reliance and say, listen, guys, can we get a +10 maybe, or maybe +15? I thought corporations are supposed to be evil and greedy, but the more I look Reliance and FSL in football, I think maybe they are the good guys. Aditya, this generalizations, the generalization that, okay, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys. No, the world is not black and white. The world is in a lot of shades of gray, right? This is, you, we, all of us need to understand that. There is no world which is simply, and this good or bad, it's not so simple, right? FSDL, Reliance have made their own mistakes. No, not a few, they've made it. But they're still committed to it. Reliance, after the Supreme Court said what they said, could have simply walked away. They could have just said, you know what, we've tried, we wanted to, but you guys don't want it. We're out. Thank you very much. Tata, bye-bye. Yeah. Let's see. Hey, Harry, welcome back. FSD at the moment are also okay to leave the football scenes, right? Just waiting for graceful end to it. End, if it does. Yuvraj, I don't think so. Because we are only looking at ISL, but look at their investments. They've done the Reliance Foundation Development League. They've done the Reliance Foundation Young Champs program. They've done the grassroots programs. So when we talk, we just talk about ISL. We don't talk about their investments through the system, right? And therefore, when you add up, we're talking about those 3,000 crores that Reliance most probably lost. You forget the investment in youth and grassroots, right? So therefore, there's a lot that they've done. Other than that, good to see you thinking about growing your channel. Arunda, I remember for 7-8 months you were not interested to grow this channel, which you said. Yeah, Aditya, maybe I've changed my stance because I realize when people reach out to me, different people reach out to me, that I can today a role in influencing things, that I can play a role in pushing things in a certain direction, and which I think is right. Again, in certain things I might be wrong, but I think that in a lot of things I will most probably be right. And therefore, I need to play the role. And as I said, I can most probably play a more important, more influential role if I have the backing of as many fans as possible who are willing to walk the same way or think the same way that I'm thinking on what is right for Indian football, what is the best for Indian football. Because what I say, I'm not saying in my interest. If I was thinking about myself, I wouldn't be doing Indian football. Someone said that to me last Saturday. I was sitting in Schalke versus Sevilla. Someone actually said to me, "Why do you bother about this Indian football stuff? What has it given to you?" Which is a good question, right? I said, "You've given so much to it." Yeah, I still do. Love, passion. Yeah, sometimes maybe, I know, it gives you more sleepless nights. It gives you more heart feelings. But again, the little Ronaldo will try and do what I can. But I need your support, guys. That's why I said push content, help me grow, watch the videos, the short ones, the long ones, spread it to people. Again, 18 likes so far today. I think we can do better. We've been always in the 30s in the last few days. Even watch older content. This new hype function is supposedly there. I've not seen it, but if there is the hype function, hype my content, right? I need you guys to help me to grow because I can do it. So therefore, yeah, it's important. I need your support, and thanks as always. Also, let's talk about Odisha FC. It's just staff on hold and women's football still operation. I know this behind the scenes, but I know things are bad. Maybe Ron never realized that government will change. That's why he, even for a good work, kept the Odisha tourism thing on the jersey. Aditya, wasn't it you who a few weeks ago, when I raised the topic that Odisha FC is one of the first candidates to shut down, that you always said, "Oh, Navada, you're wrong. There's nothing happening. This, not everything." And Aditya, the way that they're selling it, look at the women's operations has been cut down to a bare minimal. Odisha FC 2 years ago were champions of the IWL, right? Not even 2 years ago, a little over a year ago, they were champions of the IWL. They had the best team, and they cut down already last season, right? So this is, you can clearly see, right, that this is, and Rohan, from his perspective, right, has to say what he's saying, because yeah, they're losing money. They had a lot of support when they came into Odisha, from the Naveen Patnaik government, but also from the corporate world in Odisha, and all of that has dried out. And also this blaming, "Oh, you've not produced Odia talent, this, that, everything." Listen, when you're losing money, and they were and they are losing money, how much are you going to invest into grassroots and youth? This is something which we need to understand in the Indian football context. And it would be sad, but if things don't change in the next, let's say, 29 days, I think on 1st of September, we will hear a lot of teams saying, "You know what, on hold or shutting down completely for the moment." You know. So that's the thing. For his career, Khalid should have stayed in Jamshedpur FC. That would have been a better decision, in my opinion. Yeah, but, considering AIFF concern. Blue, that's a fact that I think we haven't discussed so far, but again, very good example. If you look at Khalid Jamil, right? One of the best players of his generation, right? I'll say that. I've seen him. I like his style, physicality, and all that stuff. Khalid had something about him as a sort of a midfield marshal, be it at Mahindra. Especially I remember Derek Pereira was a huge fan of Khalid. turned as a coach. Very gritty, very fighting. But I don't know where that came from. No? That someone who, okay, yes, defensive midfielder, but there was a certain level of creativity in there. I don't know how it got lost. So therefore, for me, he's achieved a lot. If I would look at Khalid Jamil's career from 2008-9 to now, he's overachieved, right? National team job. It won't be the breaking point because he's going to get a job after that if it doesn't work. But in the current scenario, you're very, very right. But also current scenario, state of the national team, looking at the players, I don't know. Difficult. I'm happy that your channel is growing. One thing I want to suggest that possibly you can go many collab streams with different creators so that you reach more people and more fans can get to knowledge from you. Harry, thanks. You know what? Yes, some people do. Musa asked me yesterday to join him, but again, I was at handball here locally in Remscheid where we saw two Bundesliga teams fight it out. Bergische HC versus VfL Gummersbach, full arena and all that stuff. You know, and I will do that. But again, Harry, I can't force myself onto other people's platforms. Right? They have to invite me. Harry, Hiren, for example, Curious Harry, I go on his channel, he comes on my channel, very nice. With Musa, the same thing. Others, I'm not going to force myself onto them, right? So if you want, tell them, invite me. And if I've got time, I will surely do that. I wouldn't be surprised if someday Amvijan says we didn't knew about Khalid's appointment. Raj, nice one. Let's see. If a club has manager and not head coach, how is plans and transfers decided? How role is played by director of football, who plays major role and who decides what and what type of player to bring? Harry, look at the English system again has changed also dramatically over the last few years because, as I said in the past, Jurgen Klopp said, this is pre-COVID, that you know what, I have to take a lot of calls in regard to the team, right? Where Klopp was surprised that what kind of calls he had to take at Liverpool. Now the system has changed. It's become a little bit more German, where you have a sporting director, a technical director, or a technical director above that, a sporting director who are, you've got a scouting department in the background. You've got lots of people in the background who are working for you. The head coach sometimes only job is actually to focus on the team. And sometimes the head coach says, listen, I want this player, I want that player. Or he says, listen, I want player for this position or that position. And then the club goes out and try to find it. So therefore, look at, for example, I think, again, let's go back to the Liverpool example, who invested loads of money this year, that they said, listen, you know what? We need a left back. We need a playmaker. Certain players want to leave. We want them to be released. We need a striker, right? So therefore, this whole saga is going on. So therefore, that's how you operate. Some clubs tell the coach, I'm getting in, those are out, those are coming in. And sometimes it's the club's hierarchy with the coach deciding. Anyway, sir, let's move from one negative to another. Operations being suspended by clubs, the litmus test for several months. Yuvraj, the danger is whenever clubs stop operations around the world, normally it doesn't happen in these kind of numbers, and if you see clubs stopping operations, and it's happening, let's say Bury Football Club where Baichung used to play, they went out of business. Morecambe FC supposedly to be taken over by an Indian origin Punjabi guy. It doesn't seem to be happening. Could be going out of business. They're in the National League. So therefore, these are all very, very difficult examples. And if you have now 7, 8, 10 teams stopping their operations per se in the ISL, I don't think 100% will come back, right? We will lose teams, and that's the danger. For example, difference between Pep and Hugo Viana of Man City regarding transfers to a club other than the coaching, what managers do. Listen, Pep is the coach, but Pep also says, listen, I want this player, I want that player, and then Hugo Viana goes out and says, listen, Pep, I can get you this or I can get you that. As I said, different, but the setup, de facto, the names are the same, but what is the roles, what is the competency of the head coach, of the technical director, of the sporting director, of the head of scouting, of this, of that, depends on the clubs. It is not going to be the same. So that is something which you need to remember. From wanting OCIs to appointing Khalid just because of his nationality, AIFF no more disappoints you. It just makes you feel more pathetic every day. Yuvraj, it's a yeah. We were speaking about those things yesterday. No? That where have we come? Yeah. So therefore, yeah. What to say? Yeah. It's. Um, yesterday I was feeling this, while I was talking to you guys and some of the people were asking, and then you remember that when people are telling me, oh, David needs to play, and then I really had to go. I said, listen, if David Lalinsanga, if Edmund, if Sueb Hart is the level of strikers you want to play at international football, then let me tell you that these guys are not ready for that level. They have to be better, and they have to be playing regular ISL football to be able to do that. And just saying, oh, he scored that many goals. Listen, that's nice. I would know how to body them. I would not be able to catch them in pace, but I know how would just body them and then know how to shove them around. Right? That is what we need to know. What is a litmus test for clubs? If there's no league, then they will suspend operation. Why does it have to be shameful about anything? I don't understand. Aditya, if the point is, and Yuvraj's explanation comes first and I'll come mine, litmus test in the sense of business, cost cutting and priorities, ex-academies, those leagues are on. The point is also, if we're talking about a litmus test, is how much do you believe that the league will happen? Right? If you would have asked clubs in me, will the 25-26 season of the Indian Super League happen? 100% of the clubs would have said yes. And this is just to realize the short-sightedness of the managements, of the owners, that they did not realize that the danger of the ISL not happening was not in their heads in May. We are at the beginning of August. If you would do an unofficial, informal, without letting know who is which teams, how many people would say that the ISL will happen in regard to the owners and the management? Would it be 50? Would it be even less percent? So this is the litmus test, because they have been losing money for a long time. And also, when they upscale or restart their operations, there might be one good thing, right, which might have happened. I think that it will be difficult for certain level of players, forget the top level, but the mid-level players most probably will get less money in the future if the ISL survives. That might be a positive out of this whole negative. Litmus tests in the sense of, we did that. Even we don't know if Stephen did apply. So I know that Mr. Constantine did apply. By technical aspect, I meant the basics of football and injuries, which of course he knows, but he not knowing whether India is playing something else, apathy, nonchalant. Yeah, okay, yeah, I know what you're doing. Yeah. These same people who demand sacking of Khalid, who are celebrating now. Raj, that dawned on a lot of people with Igor Stimac at some stage. That people who were celebrating Igor Stimac in 2023 after the Asian Cup, it started that people questioned Stimac. ISL over now. What, Rhythm? No one knows. I think we have to wait on a lot of things, and let's see what happens. So with Khalid as coach, any players you can having a breakthrough or calls up, we can often do feel he will not be picking senior players. Waman, I think knowing Khalid a little bit, there might be certain players you will see coming back into the Indian national team who have not played in a few years or maybe have never played for the national team. Khalid trusts the certain. Look at the moment this summer. 3 players who were with him at Aizawl when in 2017 they won the league. 2016, 2017 when they won the league. Albino Gomes, Ashutosh Mehta, and now Jayesh Rane joined them from Mumbai City. Right? So, does he trust young players? Not very often, if you're asking me from that perspective. Will he play safe? I think so. Will he call up players from Jamshedpur FC? Yes, I think there will be a number of Jamshedpur FC players calling up. And let's say, let me go to the craziest level. I don't think it'll happen, but a player who works in the system very well, Pranay Halder, former India captain under Steven. Who knows? Maybe we see Pranay Halder back in the national team again. FSL is neither black or white. What do you think they are of how you see them? More of grey or more of a silver? Harry, to me, I would always say more of a silver, more of a whitish color, because I cannot forget the investments that they've made into Indian football in the last 15 years. Again, not every decision of theirs has been right, but yeah, that's the reality. The ego of former professional players and coaches are quite bad. So that I've been seeing your discussions in the coaches and managers WhatsApp group. It's hilarious. Because the guys don't understand. You are making very valid points. I'm not getting part of that discussion. Normally, I would love to. It's itching me always to write something, and then I decide, you know what, it would just make the matter simply worse if I get involved in all of these discussions, because these people will not understand where you're coming from. You have very valid points. I totally agree with you on all points. But the point is, at the end of the day, these people are not willing to accept it. So therefore, yeah, let's wait and see where we go. Corporations are greedy, but AIFF outclassed them by a light year. Damn greed. Panash, it wasn't greed. If you look back at 2010, when Praful Patel convinced Mukesh Ambani to bail him out and say, listen, Z is giving me about 25 crores. They're not paying. They want to reduce the figure. Right? Are you willing to come in? They came in and committed 50 crores, which was a huge figure in 2010. And the point was, listen, I guarantee you 50. If we can make this work, you get 20% of the money that we generate. A minimum, maybe even more. Sadly, we're not in that position. That's the point that I want to make, right? So therefore, that's the thing, right? It was not because of football that Reliance came around. No, it was Praful Patel convincing Mukesh Ambani to make this investment. And unlike basketball, they signed a 30-year deal with the Basketball Federation of India. They never started a league, and they walked out. So I have to give Reliance Industries the credit that they've stuck around with football and they will fulfill their 15 years contract. I cannot take that away from them. So did FSDL approach AIFF 1 or 2 years back regarding renewal of MRA? Like, look, deadline is near renew. If so, sir, then what was AIFF's response? Because we always talk AIFF going to FSDL, not vice versa. Yuvraj, there was once an approach from I think there were informal conversations which happened at the time, but the AIFF didn't want to take it forward. Yeah. Damn it, Constant would have been perfect at this time before the qualifying games. Yeah, Rohit, that would have been the best, no? Guys, believe me, AIFF and Committee Zero about our thoughts. Yeah, Zinnat, that's the problem. That's why I say I want to be. Again, I've tried my bit. I will continue to try my bit. But I would, as I say, if I can have more people behind me supporting my approach of wanting the best for Indian football, honestly wanting, with knowledge and understanding, not with BSing the system, I need your support. I need your support here. I need your support on all my social medias, that I have bigger numbers so that I can push for things, right? For me, that is the most important thing. And therefore, for me, that's a very, very important thing. So if you guys can help me, yeah, I need that. And therefore, yeah. And therefore, for me, yeah, any support I can get, I'm thankful to that. But yeah, I can be the voice of all of us to try and change things, and not do it in a blunt, public way, but maybe try it smartly, cleverly behind the scenes. Was Khalid the winger when he played football? Also, if he was an offensive player, why does he have much relevance in Portugal coach? Rohit, as I said earlier, midfielder, more of a defensive midfielder with, depending, of course, at Mahindra, sometimes with playmaking capabilities. Maybe Ranavada, you have had the vision of what Indian football could have been. That's also very addictive. Polosh, I think I've always had an idea where I would like to have seen Indian football go. But if I look at, again, 20 years ago, I was talking to certain people, where my thoughts were in 2000 in 2000. And Khalid was around there as well. Because if I look at what I thought then I would say that 25 years later, my thought process would be different because I would have learned a lot of things. My approach would have changed. Knowledge, most important thing. But I see a lot of people who had the same thought process in 2000 still have the same thought process in 2025. So I see a lot of people who don't have an sort of, it didn't evolve in any way, right? Sorry, this is bad. Let me turn on the light. Sorry, there is a thunder shower outside. It's gotten dark. So for me, that's the biggest challenge. No? That's the biggest challenge. And today I would do things differently. I would have done things differently 10 years, 11 years ago when the ISL started. But again, you grow older. At least I do. I think I need to learn, understand what went right, what went wrong, and then accordingly do things. If Arunda would have been speaking Hindi instead of English, maybe he would have reached a lot of people by now. Aditya, even the Bengali thing, I know I've reached a lot of people, but I don't want to get into those arguments because in Kolkata, sorry, I say this as a Bengali, a lot of people don't want to understand what the situation is. We still live in this overhyped period, and they don't want to understand that the Maidan thing is not, the CFL. We could have talked about it 30 years ago. The CFL is not the future of Indian football, right? And if I'm now looking at East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, both of them having to play ISL level players, so-called ISL level players, in a Kolkata in the CFL, where are we? So therefore, maybe Hindi would have been better, but that's not my strong point. Bengali I will do once in a while, but English is my language. Actually, no, German is even more my language, but speaking in German on Indian football maybe might not work. Tobas don't see greed, rather in the AIFF can see more about incompetency. I agree with that, Blue. I said that to someone today. More than greed, because there is what a lot of people talk about corruption, no, it is more about power, in my humble opinion. It is not about, because if I want greed, right, I need to have the financial side of things in place, right, to be able to talk about the greed, right? Where do these people make, and again, it's not greed. It's about power. It's about control. It's about influence. Rather than, these people don't understand, if we don't grow the platform to a certain level, if we don't grow Indian football to a certain level, we live in a small little world, right? This is my problem with Kolkata and Kolkata Maidan. Kolkata football could be or should be the driving force of Indian football. It should have such an impact. But it lives in a small little world. These people want to live in their small little world and don't see that the thing could be X times bigger, should be X times bigger. And therefore, we're stuck where we are. So that's it, guys. Don't worry, I'm trying to bring Anavasa along with Nilanjan Selvaprasad on the same platform. All right, waiting for that, Siddharth. Dada, Bengali media never rated Khalid that high as a footballer compared to his contemporaries. What's the reason? Panush, because he turned down to playing in Kolkata, no? He had a concrete offer from East Bengal, And being a devout Muslim, he said, I will not sign for a club which does advertising for an alcohol company. Right? So he has certain values. Yeah, I respect him for that. And he turned it down. Um, and yeah, and therefore, as he didn't play in Kolkata, he didn't have the respect, right? I take Goan players. Good example to me is always Alvito Dacunia. Alvito Dacunia came to Kolkata, played for East Bengal, never left again. That's why Alvito is rated so highly. But is a Clifford Miranda as highly rated in Kolkata as Alvito? And Clifford to me would have been Alvi. With all respect, Clifford to me is a better left winger than you are. But he wouldn't be rated. So that is, in my opinion, those players who've not played in the city very often in the past, even today. So that's the thing. Talk Football HD doing live with Bajaj. Look, let them do it. If you guys want to join. Sorry, but that's their game, no? What hype function? How do we hype this channel? Rohit, supposedly under videos, besides the like function, there is now a hype function. I've not seen it actually. So if you can see the hype function, then then you help me and the channel. And again, that's what I'm saying. Do like, do share, do subscribe. And if you see the hype function, that is something which is there. Liverpool's Football Club sold Diaz for 75 million, overpaid by Bayern, sir. What's your opinion? No, I don't think so. If you think that the Flo Wirtz deal is worth about 150 million euros, then I think 75 million euros on ads on, it's 70 million plus 5, is the market is way overheating. I mean, if Benjamin Šeško currently is being discussed 80 plus million from Leipzig to either Man U or Newcastle and Liverpool, supposedly 150 million is what Newcastle wants for Alexander Isak. 75 for a seasoned 28-year-old Colombian winger looks okay. It sounds ridiculous, but that's the reality, right? We talk about the pricing; it's overhyped. This is again, it's a global football phenomenon, right? So you warned about Igor and Saf, then you warned about Manuro. Both came through, so I believe about Khalid is unfit to become national coach. Yeah, Dark Knight. Yeah, sadly. Again, I want Khalid to prove me wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll tell you that, hey, listen, Khalid, you did better than I thought you would do. No problem with it. But I don't see that happening, and that's my concern, right? Yeah. So therefore, yeah. So far, some more days, Instagram full of, yeah. So I was, the comment section of AIFF Insta shows the level of football fans in India. Domino effect will happen even one club close. Dark Knight, it has already started, no? with the informal sort of closure of Odisha FC's ISL team. That's the start. No? That's the start of the chain, right? So therefore, for me, Kerala Blasters has allowed all the players to sign elsewhere. BFC is on standby till end of August. Chennai seems to have seized all its things as well. Let's wait and see what happens. Insta fans have some kind of brain problem, how they always have the worst take in everything. Flew to Raj. Topper even defended Igor. Yeah, Raj, he did. Very true. Even Twitter fan was creating like no. It's insane, guys. Safe to say we want Khalid to succeed. Just looking at his playing career and coaching career, is definitely something in him which makes him do well for himself. But not sure about the teams he played for and coached though. That's the point. And if he was dependent, again, even his success at Aizawl is dependent on certain foreigners. Oh, hi. Raj gives you advice. Rudro, you've switched quite a lot from Igor to Manolo, now to Khalid. Welcome in your third avatar. First it was Mohun Bagan and Mumbai City FC Kota, then FC Goa, now Jamshedpur FC Kota. Yeah, Raj, if Pranay Halder is not playing in Kafa. I will raise a protest against Khalid. I want comeback of Pranay Halder. Everyone has to farm views and talk will do the work. A lot of us here, two-thirds of Mr. Rajamasa in early days, so will the new viewers, but eventually they will also embrace reality. It's like, yeah, but it's taking too much, no? Because if that's why I say to all the different content creators who talk about Indian football, do your engagement. I don't have a problem with it. Do your things which you think are right or wrong, but do all of us a favor and do things also to support Indian football, right? And if I look at the way that the Xavi thing was presented, then that to me sums up the whole situation. Well, was there any quota? I don't think so, but people love that, no? Forget everything, guys. For sure, Indian football going down day by day. For sure, no one want to accept it. So that it is very, very low. But there is the hope that someday it will get better, at least for me. Which coaching stint was the best so far for Khalid? Which club? Aizawl FC, winning the I-League by far. Yesterday, I saw people who was doing North-South in Indian football. That's the biggest challenge for us. So that they're doing North-South, they're being anti-Bengali. I'm not even going to get into a discussion what people from the Northeast have been telling me over the last 20 years. Yeah, these are issues. If you notice, the whole Jamshedpur FC coaching staff is all Indian. Is that decision by the club to help support Indian coaches? What's the philosophy behind it? Save money, Rohit. This Jamshedpur FC at the moment is indirectly an old Mumbai FC I-League thing of the early 2010s. You, Rohit, don't think it. Whenever you're thinking about Indian football these days and about these things, and you have a thought of, oh, they're doing this for, no, don't think it. Think it from, are they trying to save money? Are they trying to do this way? Don't, this is an honest thought you have, but that is not the approach. Khalid Jamil was not signed by Jamshedpur FC because they thought, hey, listen, we want to give an Indian coach a chance. No. After Owen Coyle, they wanted someone, save money, and listen, the whole Mumbai FC shebang gang is there, and they brought in Khalid. Simple. Son leaves Spurs. Yeah, Mac. Yeah. Great player. I've had the pleasure in the past to interview him a few times during his Germany days or during the Asian Cup as well in 2011. Yun Ming was always very friendly. Yeah, a legend in his own rights. Sadly, I sometimes feel he could have gone somewhere else and won bigger things in club or even South Korea under him. Should have at least won one Asian Cup. But lovely player, lovely guy. Sir, my club, Liverpool, needs to sign players. We haven't signed anyone. Yeah, Yuvraj, this whole talking, isn't that the talking point, the criticism that Liverpool fans had of Manchester City? Oh, you're signing players. No, things have turned, right? So this is another example of football, where the blame is put on others and then you do the same thing. And then, if you're going to get Alexander Isak over the board, Liverpool Football Club will spend the most that any club has ever spent in a transfer window, right? We come back to the hypocrisy topic. Indian football fans are equally guilty for downfall of our football, I feel. 100%. Siddharth, sadly, that is the reality, right? This is where we are stuck at this moment, if you ask me. Indian football fans wanted Asian Games. I said 2 years ago, Asian Games, the whole calendar in September 2023 will be a mess. I remember people were fighting me. No, this is the best thing for us to do. What happens? AIFF does a mess. The government gets involved. Government wants the best players. There's that. Khichdi ho gaya. Right? Indian football, that's why I say with all the fans are a very, very key component of football. Football is played for the fans. But football fans in decision-making or getting involved in decision-making, it's like the ex-players and the coaches. It's a problem in my opinion. Because if you don't know what you need to do, then you are in the situation we are in. We're not going to qualify for Asian Cup and not winning in Kafa. Mayak, we were never winning Kafa. CAFA Nations Cup is match practice, right? Let's see what we do. We're playing 3 teams against whom normally, I mean, even Afghanistan at the moment, it is so sad that I'm saying even Afghanistan is difficult for us to beat. Forget Iran and Tajikistan. So therefore, let's play. Participating in CAFA is fun, I feel. So let's see. Can we say Kolkata football, be it fans, clubs, media, administration, wanted to be at top and wanted to grow themselves rather than collectively trying to grow Indian football? With great power comes great responsibility. Yeah. They wanted to grow themselves. But the caveat is Mohun Bagan and its fans and its officials want to grow Mohun Bagan. East Bengal, its officials, its fans wants to grow East Bengal. Mohammedan, even United Sports itself. Smaller teams, this, that. That is the problem, Harry. They don't even want to promote Bengal football. And forget Indian football. Which they didn't do so, yeah. Someone created this meme where we signed Hugo and then bid for Isak yesterday. That John Henry, as the owner, saying, guys, you all said the transfer market is closed for us, and who the hell has taken my wallet? Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Khalid Jamil, national head coach with Emmanuel. How is it looking, sir? Very, very critical. I see in your picture. I've lost faith in general football fans as well. Yeah, so sorry, it's what to happen. That's the point. It's difficult. I know it doesn't feel easy for you, for me, for all of us. But yeah, this is something which is the reality of things. No? So therefore, let's wait and see what happens. Mumbai FC cartel. Mumbai not wrong. Sir, do you think if Ambani's had a team, the MRA deal would have been signed instantly? No, because again, it doesn't change anything, right? If Ambani's were interested in, let's put it this way, it makes no difference because the MRA, they want to sign the MRA where they think that it will put pressure on the clubs and the AIFF also to deliver, right? By changing the MRA to what they are proposing, what is Reliance saying? Listen, we are there. We will look at the financials. But you also need to play your part to make this project successful. That's simple. How is Tata Football Academy working now and how good were they in the past? Tell us something about them. Man, they were the best academy in India. And now they're just another academy. Very simply. But Ripple is owned by Tata Group. They approach things with some positive philosophy behind it, right? No, they don't, Rohit. If we're questioning Reliance and they're interested in football, then you have to. I've heard that certain people in Tata would have said, you know what, maybe we should have just stayed with the Tata Football Academy. You know? Sir, but the thing is, City gets money whenever they want it, and it's not a bad thing at all. But what we are doing in one window is what Man City does and comes close to doing every single window. Yuvraj, yeah, but it's all about money, no? You have American owners, right? So don't tell me that Liverpool Football Club is anything different than Man City or Man United or Chelsea or whatever. You are part of the same thing. Don't make yourself holier than you are. This is what I tell Akshata as well. Right? I'm a Bayern Munich fan. I don't take us out of the discussion. The top level football clubs are all about money. And where does the money come from? Right? Very simple. For Man City, it's a problem. Everybody else does it, it's fine. Right? So therefore, we don't have to have that conversation. I'm done with that conversation. I've had that even with people who own clubs. They're all in the same boat. But again, that's no more a point as we have spent enough loads now. No more complaining. One can't deny Pep had that privilege. Ex-Roji injured, they went Bullocks in winter window. We could never. Yuvraj, you've just done. Who says you can't? And you have a good team. Yeah? That's the point. Hi, Naveed. Just heard your concerns about Khalid, but you are a learned man when it comes to football. You tell me, even if Stefan or Constant take even Xavi or Pep, does it guarantee success? Naveed, it doesn't guarantee success. But I should take the best option. No? You know, you know. Uh, and sorry to say, but it seems you have some personal problems or concerns when it comes to Khalid. So please share them. We as fans would like to know. Navid, I shared them in the video that I did today, right? I know Khalid for 25 years, right? As a personal thing, no problems with Khalid. Never had. But I have a problem with Khalid as a coach because I feel that he's ultra defensive. He needs players so his system works. It has worked at Mumbai FC over the years. It worked exceptionally at Aizawl FC. That thing clicked for a year. But he left immediately for East Bengal because he knew a second season with Aizawl FC, he would be fighting against relegation. Because Aizawl FC is such a unique story in that year that they won it. You could have never replicated that. He failed after that at East Bengal. He failed after that at Mohun Bagan. He failed at Bangalore United, who brought him and said, listen, can you help us get promoted to the I League? He had some success at Northeast United. He had exceptional success this season at Jamshedpur FC. But I also, when I watched Jamshedpur FC against Punjab FC in Delhi, I saw the two players without which Jamshedpur FC would be an average ISL team not reaching the playoffs. Stephen Eze at the back, and especially Javi Hernandez up front in a playmaker position or as a free revolving position. Forget all the other players. Those two players, and when Stephen Eze got injured, they conceded 10 goals in 2 matches. So he is dependent on players. His defensive unit has to be strong, and he has 1 or 2 players who are, in an attacking sense, his trump cards. He doesn't have that in Team India. So that is my concern, that he is very one-dimensional from his approach, ultra defensive, right? And hopes that he has the players to do his, but play his system. Do European clubs care about themselves more or their national teams more? Is this a football thing in general? Yeah, they care about themselves, but all football clubs around the world. So we should call the female diasporas playing in top football leagues right now if you want to aim for qualify World Cup. I found many such as were checking about them. Red Apple, we've got tons of them now. So yeah. So if Khalid's tenure doesn't go well and the AIFF have to appoint another coach, I don't think anyone is going to even apply. Look at the process of favoritism. No coach will want to be here. Vaman, I don't think that will happen because there are too many coaches around the world who are still without a job. So you will have coaches, XYZ, who will apply for the job. Is Manju Sabrina Wilde interested to play for India? She has played in many top-tier German clubs while playing for a Portuguese top-division club. Manju, who I know personally, Red Apple, we approached the AIFF, was it 2.5 years ago? She was interested to play. Didn't change anything, And yeah, you're talking, she's at Sporting Braga. She's played in Cologne and Bremen. Under 20 FIFA World Cup winner for Germany. Yeah, she's one of many who would love to play for us. Why TFA not producing quality players? Dark Knight, because the system is not there at TFA anymore. You have many more academies, players are spread out, and they don't have Ranjan Chaudhary, who was there at the time. Ranjan Chaudhary was a key factor why Tata Football Academy was producing the players that we're producing. If I had money, I would definitely give against AIFF a vacancy in terms of coaching cash. Yeah. Good evening, Zoravar. So please give us the Chelsea owner, please. They are literally Diamond Harbour, CF Premier League. Yeah, Yuvraj, but again, they are balancing their books. It's an incredible thing they're trying to do. I don't think it's the right time to give Indian coach this job. Yeah, I agree. Looks like F went for the cheapest option for national team manager. No, they didn't, Zoravar. I know from a coach, an international coach, who said until the end of the Asian Cup qualifiers, he would be willing to come for free. So they didn't go for the cheapest option. And even the cost factor was not even discussed with the coaches, right? Khalid Jamil appointment, no one spoke before that with Jamshedpur FC. It happened also with Manol, right? There was, So we see how overpriced the striker market that Sheshko and Hugo are costing this big. Do you see any promising striker right now? So younger than 24. No, I think the two biggest, Sheshko and Hugo Ekitike, are the ones most probably. Odisha becomes the first club ISL club to fold according to rumors. And Northeast Milk to follow suit. Zorawar, they haven't folded. They've just stopped operations, but yeah, that's maybe close to it. Blasters, yeah. Hyderabad, yes. Chennai FC, I would say yes. Northeast United, no. Harvey's next level player brings next level quality. Mike, he is a product of Real Madrid Academy. You see class, no? If Khalid manages national with a single role, wouldn't it a big problem for John Hypocrisy regarding money? As Khalid has Indian support team with new coach, for example, Cole, they would have foreign ones, increased budget. Harry, that's their problem. Do you think that, for example, maybe Jamshedpur knows that they're not going to be playing after this? So they know that I don't need to appoint a coach. What if India's natural playing style is to play ultra defensive? It is not ultra defensive. That's right. That's the problem. If I don't have the players to play ultra defensive, if I play ultra defensive, I'll concede 5 goals every game because we don't have the defense to, park the bus. The way Indian football stakeholders react, I always tell myself, never involve your children in Indian football. That's a very fair. Do you think if we fail to qualify, we'll stay or resign? Mike, let's see what the AIFF contract gives him, no? Khalid tactics in a nutshell, park the bus, pray somehow the striker scores. Yeah, that's a sad thing. Yes, sir, incredible business. Chelsea FC does, signing for 13, 15 million, selling at 40, 50 million. Yeah, that's what they've tried to do. No? It's an American way of doing it. There's coaches around the world who applied during Igor and now during Khalid, who's this fault in appointing process, which you have is if in future matter arises, I know they want job, would it affect them? No, Harry. There are foreign coaches, there are players who are still signing for or have signed for ISL teams, knowing the situation, right? So therefore, these kind of situations we can talk about, but they will decide according to what is their requirements. Here in Bengaluru, fans are discussing the impact of ISL closure on fans' turnout and ticket pricing. We just got one of the best turnout last season after nearly 5 years, concerned overall. Shaggy, we are in a very, very difficult situation. And if you remember the whole 2.5 weeks ago, Sunil and all the players coming out at BFC is because BFC told them, listen, if things don't change, end of August, we're shutting down the whole thing, right? So, yeah. AIFF is full of clowns, yet the officials think that they are the father of Indian football. So that, again, as I've said to you and others, don't call them clowns, don't abuse them, give them, again, even if they don't deserve the dignity, but give them that dignity. Give them, don't demean yourself by being, the way. Keep your own stature. No interview, how they select coach by lottery system. No, they didn't do interview. They wanted certain people wanted coach A, certain people wanted coach B, and then you decide on coach A. That's how it seems to be. Good night, sir. Amazing session today too. If you ever see someone worried about life choices, just show them people who choose Man United as their club few decades back. No, I won't, Yuvraj. No, if a few decades back, if someone has been a Man United fan for 3 decades, they'll be fine. The same thing could have been said to a Liverpool fan at the time when Jurgen Klopp signed, right? So clubs will have good phases and bad phases. I think that is something which you need to learn. Club or nation, bad phases, always support. India, China have huge population. It's a large population problem. Building great teams and players. I saw a document Chinese football, the large investment still in shambles. R3, DF4, NG. India and China, the comparison doesn't work. We wanted to do on the cheap and on Jugaad. The Chinese spent billions, didn't work. Football is not so easy. Other sports you can do. China get the most Olympic medals. I think AIFF should mention if we qualify, you stay, else you get out of job and start new cycle with your coach. Mike, let's wait and see what they do now. The amount of scam, Bajaj is running Instagram, winning second-tier youth football leagues globally and claiming winning top youth leagues. He literally posted that they top down our first division. Yeah, what to say? That's sad that there are people who are getting influenced by him and claiming him to be. That's so we're back to the whole, where are we? Did they hire an astrologer to pick the coach out of the final 3? Maybe, Rohit, they brought him back. I always respect everyone, but I feel like they are stupid. They are most probably, but don't say it now. You have the high moral ground. Keep that. Siddharth, you need to keep that. You keep that sanity for yourself. Sir, official, what are the players doing? They're not performing on ground. Mike, yeah, officials, players, coaches, everyone needs to take a blame, right? But we are where we are. Things need to change, and therefore, for me, so yeah, and therefore we will go ahead. Let's see what happens. You think Sunil Chhetri will continue playing on the national team with Khalid Jamil? Will Khalid want Sunil continue? Rohit, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Sunil will continue, but let's see. Scooter without brakes is that he acts as the best academy in the world. So again, what to do, right? 2 hours and 15 or 2 hours 16 minutes, guys. I have to head out, as I said. As always, I take Siddharth. I hate it when they do make bahana for everything. Yeah, bahana, jugaad, whatever you want to call it. They will not treat you with respect, but you treat them with respect. Be on the higher ground, and yeah, that's the reality, right? And Bishwajit says that a development regarding AIFF is the Supreme Court for the issue. None. So to end this, thanks a lot for joining again. As I always say, like, share, subscribe. Help me to grow the community. I need your help, guys. We need more people. There are enough sane Indian football fans out there. I need your support, their support, to grow this. And we need to raise our voices. We need to keep talking. We need to saying, guys, things need to change. And therefore, we need to continue to do this. Thanks a lot. Good night. And I'll be back tomorrow night at my usual time, 9:45. See you then. See you.